Hello, I'm Terry Sacka, Chief Strategist. We're along with Dr. Charles Vance, and this Wealth Transfer News is here to give you uncompromised truth, so get ready. How you doing, Charles?
Good, thanks, Terry. You?
I'm wonderful.
You need to stay around for the next few minutes. We're going to get back into some things this week. Tell you, the last few weeks, I hope you've been along, because we've really been talking about the state of the economy and where it's going to, and the dangers that we have in the financial system that's really what even the financial system calls fiat, which is just fake. Is all that word means. F-I-A-T, look it up. It means
And then
fake.
we're in the evolution of politics, because it's an election year, and the difference between socialism, capitalism, and the beauty of capitalists for Main Street people, we the people, because, you know, it was brought up by one of our producers that I thought was just a tremendous segue into this. We're talking about the banking system all the time, and we don't need the banks. And here's a good example of this. Let's show this first, because this is absolutely hilarious. But here's a great little cartoon. The Fed. And he's got a bucket saying free money. Now, the guy's telling his daughter, no, Virginia, that's just Ben Bernanke, who's the Federal Reserve Chairman. They're trying to give away their money, right? So I thought that was just so cute. But the point of it is, the banking system we just don't need. If we in the Christian kingdom are in the right assets, like silver, of course, when this reset takes place and the wealth is transferred to an extent, we can be here for each other. Greatest example, how many of you have watched the CNBC Shark Tank, for instance? It's great because they're billionaire or extremely wealthy individuals that promote creativity, thinking in the young, by the way. A lot of these people are younger. And then they'll give them money if their idea is good enough to start the business.
And they've got to be people that have proven themselves to some degree, that they've got out and done something.
Well, if anything, they show they thought through the problem.
Absolutely.
And what I love about that is these are individuals saying, I will finance your brilliant idea. And then half these people, a lot of them have gone on to be extremely successful. And simple ideas, too. Why can't we in the kingdom, when this takes place, we need more wealthy in the kingdom to be the Shark Tank. We need more wealthy in the kingdom. When the financial transfer takes place, we can take the wealth to help one another in the kingdom. We don't need the system. We don't need the banking except to maybe pay some bills. Personally, I'd like to see a Christian bank and everything Christian. If they're going to attack us this much, how about we start creating our own? Thank God you got people boycotting Target, and for many of them who have not heard about it, go look up Boycott Target and see why you should. Why don't we in the kingdom start sticking together? Start doing things for one another. And if they're going to attack us that hard, we better start looking after each other, right? There's plenty of us here. So if we have the wealth in the future, and I would almost have to think, and I'm being serious about this, next to the Luciferian side of the government, next to those in the government that are demonically possessed, they would probably love it if we in the kingdom financially took care of one another and did things for one another. Why? That's what less they have to worry about. Because all the Luciferian and anti-gods in our country, they're going to have to take care of. So I really do believe that the government probably would love for us to be responsible with our money. They don't care about the gold and silver at that level. They just don't. Let us have a wealth. We will use our wealth when this dollar collapses to help our communities, our churches, and our ministries. Less that the government has to do. And by the way, isn't that what God would want us to do?
Terry, it's again, it comes back to a thing of responsibility. That we have a responsibility to use what we have the ability to use. I want people to understand that it's not always something that I've had people ask me, well, what am I supposed to do? All I do is work a job and I get paid so much a week. You can take what you have and use it properly and be wise with it. Invest what little bit you can, if you have just a little bit, and use that investment to set not just a nest egg, but the ability, like you were talking, when this reset takes place, that we're going to have the ability not to just survive, but to thrive.
To thrive. I mean, if we, during these social unrest periods, if we have emergency storage food, if we have water we can count on in case some sabotage takes place, if we're financially in the right place, thrive is the key, because think of this. Why do we want the banking system? Why shouldn't we rely on one another? This chart here, since 1971, mind you, since we came off the gold standard, this is all U.S. credit market debt. All of it now, mind you. Now, these are speculators. This is all the debts.
That's in trillions of dollars.
62 trillion. And somehow that's okay? The American dream is built on this. It's not real.
You're right.
A dream isn't real. Real is I own that.
Absolutely.
We don't own anything with this. So it's important to see. Now, there's 3 periods in the history I want people to grab. Why I really enjoy this teaching aspect of it is because if we go to, and I love it because there's Shemitah cycles too, which is I find fascinating. The first one was the dot-com boom on the left. The middle one was the housing bubble in the middle. And then the current bubble we're in. All 3 of those, or the first 2 collapses, mind you, perfectly timed with the 7-year cycle of a Shemitah. But they all had something attached to it, where the banking system created money to people to invest in these things, and it was all fake. At first, they created money to invest in these dot-com boom things, internet companies, and it all collapsed. Then they created money for everyone to own a home, even if you didn't have any money to own a home. There were people getting houses who didn't even have jobs. Then they created money for the banking system to get bailed out because they lost all their money in the first 2. Because the current bubble, mainstream has not really reaped any reward of this, have we? Look how staggering.
Absolutely not.
But look at the staggering amount of where we go from 2009 up to today. Blows away the 94 to the 2000, blows away from there to 2008.
To me, it's interesting that last quantitative easing, that money printing that they did, really none of it came to the consumer.
Well, the Main Street. Let's use our words. Main Street people. We the people.
Well, and they tightened it up on people that even had good credit.
Yes.
I've got a huge credit score, right among the top, and nobody wanted to loan money.
Right.
They said they were going to when they printed the money.
Yes.
So the money went somewhere.
Again, they say it, but they don't do it. They're liars. They're manipulators.
Because it doesn't,
Luciferians.
And the reason most people believe this, I believe, is because the majority of people are not out pursuing it. So they just, if they report it, they say, well, that already happened.
Well, and we learned, from the White House, counsel that, they manipulate the news and they know it. And they lie and they know it. And they don't care because no one's paying attention anyway. So what's fascinating is the 2008, which is in the middle there, the housing bubble crash. Everyone, all I would ask is, do you remember the 2008? How painful was that to all of us? And look at the staggering amount of money printing, as you just said. Look how big that money printing is after the housing bubble, but none of us really reaped it.
And it's an inflating.
Where is it?
It's an inflating. And again, the only thing that can happen, you talk about a rubber band being stretched so far, you blow a balloon up so far.
And here's the balloon they blew up, the bankers. No wonder Bernie Sanders is popular. And the socialists.
Sure.
Because the bankers got the reward and the traders of all the trillions. We, the Main Street people, did not.
Well,
so there's something there.
And probably to understand that, people would have to understand that the bankers support the government.
Of course.
If it weren't for the Federal Reserve banking system buying treasury bonds and so forth, there would be no government.
I haven't gotten into that. It's been a while since I showed that, but I actually have the charts to show that when the banks, in order to make the books line up, they have all this debt, and they can't make the debt look that way. They have to get rid of the debt. They sell all the government bonds to make their balance sheet look good. As soon as they do the reporting of the balance sheet, they turn around and buy the government bonds back. We call that almost like kiting a check. But so the most important thing is to understand that this is real enough. They stretched it out. We didn't reap the rewards. Who's going to bail out the next one? I contend the IMF, but something is getting ready. And so let's get an education. Let's get prepared. If you're new to the program, take it seriously enough, because a good education is at least the best place to go. You could always register for information. We'll talk to you or go somewhere, but just be prepared in the kingdom.
Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you protect and preserve what you have worked hard to gain. For those of you who have IRAs to protect, 401ks to preserve, or cash in the bank, we would like to send you a package of information regarding the changes to the dollar and the challenges of our economy that you need to be prepared for. This package includes how easy it is to roll over your current IRA or 401k into a physical precious metals IRA for long-term protection of your hard-earned wealth. For those of you who have cash to invest, we can arrange to have your precious metals stored in a private vault or simply send it to your home. Call our toll-free number or register on our website now.
You know, Charles, you're going to like this. I know you brought up earlier about how even with people with great scores, they still weren't getting money. Something happened in 2008 that never happened in the past from 1970 till now. And I want to get into this. It's called liquidity, which is money that they can loan, right? We bailed out the banks, but watch this. This is the global liquidity tracker in red and the S&P 500 stock market. What's interesting is if you notice on the left, liquidity and stock market. The stock market collapses in 2000. We all know this. And so what did they do? They injected money into the system. That's why the red went up. Then what happened to the stock market? It went up. But what was interesting this time around in 2008, the next Shemitah's hit. The stock market collapsed, as we all know. But look what happened to liquidity. Why? Because everyone was extended too far in credit. So liquidity dried up in the collapse of 08. Look how much that collapsed. It wasn't, you see the red go bounce right back up like a V. That's because they printed the trillions to bring liquidity back in. So the stock market came back up on the fake money. Now what's interesting about this, every time we hit the indicator in this liquidity trap, something really bad's happening. Look on the right. The stock market keeps rising, but ironically, liquidity's not there. It's drying up. Matter of fact, liquidity is not only drying up, it's going down. And if you notice last time it went to this level, it collapsed.
Does that just simply mean people don't have the ability?
Not just people they're not lending, meaning things are tightening up.
So the flow of money is stopping for some reason.
The flow of money is stopping.
And it's is it the banking system manipulating it?
No, it's everything. The banking system has already done too much. They're freezing up a little bit because they can't go anymore. China has printed too much. They're pulling it out. People are pulling it away at the same time they should be putting it in. So we're in a real catch because our economy globally is collapsing. This is the time they need to put money in. Liquidity is drying up. Now look at this and how we know for a fact we're at a standstill in economics. Business inventory sales. You can't be any more pronounced than this. 2001, these are all Shemitah cycles, by the way. Again, Shemitah. On the left, business inventories were high. Now, when business inventories are high, when it's at the top of the chart, it means they've made so many products that nobody's buying them anymore. So they have to, they're overstocked. So they have to wait for the inventory to go down, as you see then, it goes down from the cycle, before they start producing again. Meaning, if they're not producing, we're not buying, no one has a job, right?
So
think about that.
They have to have money coming back from the products, so they sell the products off.
That's right. Think about it. If we're making a widget, and I produce 10 million widgets and they're all in the warehouse, I run out of money. I can't produce anymore. I need
to sell them first.
I need somebody to buy them. Exactly right. So what we see when the wave comes down here, we're seeing that people finally start buying. They finally took the inventory. Then they start hiring back, and they start producing products. When the inventories are high, they start laying people off because I don't have any work for you. I'm just going to lay you off. Right now, this year alone, more than 250,000 in big corporations have been laid off this year. I know, and they're not talking about that. Everything they're saying on TV is a lie. Now, the next cycle was the big one. That was 2008. And then look at the collapse. Look where we're at in business inventories on the right. Exactly. We've climbed all the way up, and business inventories, nobody's buying anything. Corporations keep producing because they're trying to make it like it's okay.
Sure.
But it's not. That is the biggest indicator we could possibly help people understand. Because their basic warehouses are full. Hence, the Baltic Dry Index is low. right?
Now, normally
you can't get any more data-driven than this.
That normally drives prices down as well when that happens, though, because people, they have to get rid of that stuff.
And the problem, yes, but then the other problem we have, prices should be driven down, but the dollar doesn't buy the same. And things cost a lot. Energy costs a lot. Materials still cost a lot. We're in a catch because, and all you have to do is ask someone who's a waiter or a bartender. There was a day you could have a pretty decent living there, but rents are really expensive. Electricity is expensive. Food is expensive, you see? So we're working, but we're not able to have extras. I know so many people. I mean, I was in the airport the other day, and a young girl, looked probably college, or maybe not. She had some things that looked like maybe she was one of these protester types, but she looked fairly clean, decent. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at her, she looked nice, you know, maybe 20, 21. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm checking her out because I'm just kind of gauging where she's at in her life. Because I know, the reason I did that is because I noticed her boots. Her boots were really worn out. I mean, literally, they're worn out, they had almost holes in them. They were just something you would see in a Great Depression. And I'm thinking to myself, she obviously doesn't have any money to buy shoes. And now I don't know where she's going, coming, but the boots caught my attention. And so that's why I was looking at her thinking, where are you at that so what I'm thinking is, even if you're working, you're not able to, you don't have the extra money if you're paying for rent and food. You can't buy boots. And it kind of really got me. I was thinking, man, I almost want to buy her a pair of boots. But I'm realizing this is going to happen all over. So that's why we in the kingdom really need to focus, because something is wrong on the underlying. And this time around, when the stuff hits, all these people already are struggling. Man, that's a match to a gas tank. And in that is why I think having emergency food is important, having our assets in the right place is important. Because this time around is different. In 2008, we didn't see such a depressionary to people. I see people now, especially traveling, I notice, Charles, they're not groomed. They're not ready to go to work. A lot of these people that are traveling, they're making $50,000, $60,000 a year running around the country working for the slave master corporation, and they're tired. They're worn out. Maybe even have families. And the money they're making is not cutting it. It's not paying the mortgage or the rent, car payments, insurance, clothing for the kids, and food. We've lost it because this doesn't buy the same as it used to. And these people are in the airports, and I could tell because their hair's unkept, and it's not cool, it's unkept. The clothes are wrinkled. The shoes are not polished. They're not ready to go to work. There was a time in the day, one thing I loved about Detroit, it didn't matter, I used to go to do sales in Detroit. And I used to go to houses where nothing was in the house, but they were trying to get a kitchen remodeled and finance it. But one thing I just so admired about the culture down there is they didn't have anything. But the clothes they had, they were pressed, they were creased, and they were polished. All they know is they had nothing, but when they walked out of that house, they looked like they were going somewhere to do something. That was the culture we had in America. And the reason it's not about imagery or materialism. It's that I get up, I crease up, I clean up, and I say, okay, God, where am I going? Be the lamp unto my feet and direct me and guide me. Because what I'm learning is, when you're ready to go to work, opportunity can come your way. You don't know that one time someone meets you, and then if you're unprepared, how can I entrust you if you can't even take care of yourself?
You're always
struggling.
Always have to be prepared for success, yes, or it'll slip through your hands.
And you're watching it in the airports. I mean, yeah. I know they're not making a lot of money, because if you're making enough money, you're definitely sharpened up.
Sure.
And I'm thinking to myself, so many of these people, God bless them, they're tired. Flying around is horrible. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, the airlines don't care about you. You can fly first class and it's horrible. They don't have direct flights, you have connections, people, this, and you can sense the spiritual drain. They're just losing the battle. They're losing the will to fight, because the money they're making running around barely keeps it alive, then the tension in the family is taking place because of economics, and I have a feeling it's going to get worse, is why I think it's so vital that we who do have IRAs to protect, do have resources, get ready to be in the right place for the transfer. So get an education. Here's a good place to get started.
Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you protect and preserve what you have worked hard to gain. For those of you who have IRAs to protect, 401ks to preserve, or cash in the bank, we would like to send you a package of information regarding the changes to the dollar and the challenges of our economy that you need to be prepared for. This package includes how easy it is to roll over your current IRA or 401k into a physical precious metals IRA for long-term protection of your hard-earned wealth. For those of you who have cash to invest, we can arrange to have your precious metals stored in a private vault or simply send it to your home. Call our toll-free number or register on our website now.
Gary, you've got a chart that you're going to pull up in just a moment that shows home ownership over the past from 1965.
Oh, from 1965,
all the way up to current.
Up to current, yes.
And it's kind of amazing that there was a spike in that when homes were overinflated, the value of them.
That's when they had all the money printing.
Yeah, all the money printing, and then people that didn't have jobs could borrow money to buy a house.
Right, remember?
Just crazy. People were buying homes with what's called stated income. And I'm sure there's several people watching that knows what that is. You didn't have to verify your income. Yeah. You could just go and say, well, I'll make $120,000, and they'd write it down like they do with a credit card and approve you for a home loan. Obviously, you can't do that now. But the home ownership now, the percentage of people that are owning homes has fallen way down. In fact, the statistics back in 1960s. Is that correct?
Look at this. Amazing. Look at that.
Wow.
So you got back all the way back here to 1960, and then it goes all the way to current. We are at the levels of 19. Now, all they've done, look at the peak. Now, you're right. Look at the money printing and all that peak. They were encouraging people to buy homes. That, if you've not seen the movie called The Big Short, it's a true story about what happened in the housing crash in 2008 in the bubble. Go see it, because it'll explain to you what happened and how they manipulated the system. And then what you'll notice is the government didn't even want to know the answer, because the gentleman who actually solved the problem, he was a quirky kind of math guy. He tried to inform the government of how he noticed the problem, and they never cared to know. And now he made hundreds of billions. He was just because he shorted it. But they were all the story's a magnificent movie. If you have not seen it, I encourage people, go see The Big Short or rent it, because it helps you recognize what's going on. And what was interesting is the hearts of these people, they recognized the anomaly in what was happening in the housing market, that it was all fake, that, like you said, people were getting houses, didn't even have a job. So they realized, oh my gosh, short this thing.
Because they knew it was going to collapse.
They knew it was going to collapse.
Yeah.
And so the story's following their journey. And what's interesting to me is these guys all ended up becoming billionaires and very wealthy because of it. But their hearts were destroyed because they knew once this happened, how many lives are going to be destroyed? And there's nothing they could have done. Nobody listened. Matter of fact, the banks were laughing at them. They thought they were suckers, but it turned out the banks were the ones who were, right? So when you see now the tragedy and the fallout of this, homeownership is at its lowest level, and we think everything's okay.
And it's just simply because people don't have the ability to buy a home.
Well, no, you can't. Not only because the dollar has been debased so much, it doesn't buy us the same.
Sure.
Food costs, gas costs, energy, everything's expensive. Then all the jobs we've had in 7 years have been part-time, 87% of them part-time. Right. It's tragic. So we can't go out and buy a house because the prices are still inflated.
No, we're talking in general, obviously.
Yes.
Generally speaking.
Now here's new home sales market capitalization in a trailing 12-month average. Now this goes all the way back to 1975 on the left. And then on the right, you see the collapse in 08, what we just got through. But look at that. We are at literally below the peak of new home sales all the way back to 1975. So we're not creating homes anymore for people to live in.
Now, if you listen to the leftist news, you would have a feeling that everything was just hunky-dory, just rosy.
That's right. Well, well, they have to. And listen, I understand They have to do what they're doing, because if they don't, the whole system collapses.
And we don't want to create a panic in people.
You know what? It's not about panic.
This is information to do something that is right, so you prepare yourself for your future.
And you know what? In the end of the day, we're not being watched by secular Luciferians anyway. So we're only being watched by remnant, and I'm assuming anyway, maybe some religious, but mostly, hopefully, remnant, people that actually are trying to pay attention. So it's a very small percentage anyway that we're talking to, and I understand that, but they need to lie to us in order to keep the system afloat, because it's collapsing. But I'm going to leave this with this chart. That right now is the global economy. I'm going to leave them with this note. Everything red is in a bear market, meaning it's collapsing, and the orange is market correction, which we're in. We're actually there. We were there, but basically everything red and orange is collapsing. That's the whole world that produces anything.
Yes, it is.
Isn't that amazing?
Very amazing.
So I'm going to leave you on that. Just know that it's real, okay?
We'll be back next week. Tell somebody about Wealth Transfer. You can watch these programs on demand at wealthtransfer.com. We'll see you next week.
Cornerstone Asset Metals has focused on using gold and silver reserves to protect your assets from volatile currencies. Another hard asset that is just as important for your sustainability is food. We believe that preparation is a key to being successful in an unstable economic environment, so we started Cam Ready Food just for you. The Bible tells us that Joseph used the resources of Egypt to prepare for a global famine by storing up food in a time of plenty. His preparation not only preserved the lives of his family, but many others as well. At Cornerstone, we believe the time is now to re-examine this biblical lesson so that you and your family can be prepared for any disaster, job loss, food shortage, or economic instability. You can start preparing today by visiting our website, camreadyfood.com, because food truly is the ultimate currency.
Are you concerned about the security of your financial future? Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you prepare for the extraordinary times ahead by protecting and preserving your assets through silver and gold. At Cornerstone, the protection and preservation of your investment is our first goal. So we are here to serve you with honesty, transparency, and respect. Take control of your future by registering on our website at cornerstoneassetmetals.com or call us toll-free at 888-747-3309. Call now, 888-747-3309. At Cornerstone, securing your future is our goal.